what is best.
Mr Cadeirydd ac arwrgyfeillion, mae'n anrhydedd o'r mwyaf I fod yma al brynhawn Sadwrn mewn cynhadledd genedigaeth yn Plaid Newydd. Now I could go on. Am I allowed 10 minutes in Welsh and 10 minutes in English? I just wonder. Greater love hath no man that on a Saturday afternoon when it is a matter of life and death in Wales, Grand Slam against France, 100 million audience all over the world, that I am here speaking to 1,500 people. Never doubt my commitment to this party ever over the next 20 years. And what is worse, I don't even know the result. If somebody knows, give a sign. Sorry? Well, there we are. We have to. It's almost as good as how David Owen planned the general election. So, can I thank Sir Russell for his explanation of the Federal Party and why we are here in the concept of a new dimension of politics. Because I'm not going to talk about that. I am going to talk about the challenge that faces us, because we're a federal party, we're a democratic party, we're unique in British politics that democracy, federalism and unity can combine in one political movement. Now our task is to explain it. Our task is to explain it in ordinary terms, even to the people of South East England. Because it is not a Welsh or a Scottish or a Northern or a West of England or a Midland issue. It is a British issue as to how best to govern Britain. And that's the challenge facing us. Now we are fortunate because we've been here before. We were divided. We were two parties, the Liberals and the Social Democrats. And for 7 years we campaigned together, but separate in identity. So there's a record. There's a book to read. We are not looking into the future and guessing what happened before. We know where we went wrong. And we went wrong because we confused people. We went wrong, we even confounded our own supporters. We started in 1981 on a road to victory and change and winning and being in government. We ended in 1987 talking of hung parliaments, talking of deals with Mrs. Thatcher, even going as far as contemplating whether electoral reform was necessary. And we disagreed amongst each other on issues like decentralisation, on social justice, on a whole range of issues. Now that was the record. That was the history. And we failed to give a clear message. Now the British people, I believe, are a generous people. In fact, I think they're a very patient people. Our colleagues in local government have just explained, despite the shambles of the last 9 months, despite the opinion polls, we are doing well in local government. Now why? It is not because we are unique. It is because the British people want us to succeed. And they are frustrated. And they are frustrated. And they are frustrated by our historical failure of the last few years to get it right. Now there's a second chance. And there's a new opportunity. And if there's one thing I admire about Mrs. Thatcher, there's only one. And there is only one, I mean that. She's got commitment and conviction. Whether you think she is right or wrong, she has a belief and she gets on with it. Now that's the message to us. We know our historical background. We know what we are about. We know the desire to change society, have a socially just and fair society. We understand the need for a reform of government. We understand the need for electoral reform. We understand the need to change the power structures in the communities in which we live. Now we mustn't look behind our shoulders in the next year or two at opinion polls. We are a party of principle. We're a party with a message. And if we can't deliver the message to the British people, how on earth do you accept and expect those people to understand us and to be with us and to support us? So the message must be clear, and it must be with conviction. The other thing is that I think we should indicate ourselves as a party of change, as a party of choice, as a party of hope, as a party of vision, as a party that wants to replace Labour and defeat the Conservatives and be in government. Now, do we all understand that? Do we all understand it? Because I tell you something, I got a bit annoyed, as probably you've read in the British papers over the last year or two, with some of my colleagues. Maybe one or two of them gladly are not with us. About they misunderstood that point. We are here to replace Labour, to defeat the Tories and be in government. No deals, no pacts. We are here to break new ground on our own. And that must never be questioned. Because we have to offer an alternative, breaking a centralized system of government, moving away from individual self-interest. We will never be able to compete with the Tories on financial selfishness and individual self-interest. We cannot go down that road. We will never be able to compete with Labour on their fudging and mudging. Neil Kinnock, the original militant. Yes, that's the young MP I remember, in early 1970, the original militant, who now has become a Tory wet, who is so intent on getting to number 10 at all cost. The Labour Party no longer understands why it exists. It is power at all costs. The issues that we are debating, the issues that we present, the issues that we believe in, are no longer even Labour issues. Now I know 10 minutes is a short time in my life. Perhaps you'll allow me 2 minutes more to quote in this Methodist hall, and it is a Methodist hall and I'm a Methodist, so I won't make a sermon. Enoch Powell, in one of today's papers, issues a challenge to the British people, and I'll read it out in case you haven't read it. A suspicion lurks that will not be repressed. There is a doubt not far below the surface. Perhaps after all, the people do not care. Perhaps it doesn't matter to them who will inhabit and control their country a generation hence. Perhaps it doesn't matter to them who sets their taxes or who makes their laws. Perhaps it doesn't matter to them if they are a pawn in the power game of others. And it goes on to explain the inadequacies of the Labour Party and the opposition leadership of Neil Kinnock. Well, I think Mr. Powell should be answered. I believe the British people do care. I believe the British people do understand there is something fundamentally wrong in a country where you need to give tax cuts to someone on 100,000 a year in order to encourage him. And you need to deny money from someone on £50 a week supplementary benefit in order to encourage him to work. I think the British people understand that. But what they're looking for is leadership. What they're looking for is someone to take up the issue and lead with confidence and with strength, without any wavering, without any doubt, without any questioning in our own beliefs and in our own future. And if we have a motto, and no doubt we've got experts here who believe in many mottos, I will finish with one. Because I think we will never be able to devise a better motto. The Declaration of Independence, July the 4th, 1776, signed by 55 signatories of that Declaration of Independence, and it's as true today as it ever will be. More so today. More so in a society where a Tory government has denied individual freedom, has questioned even the rule of law. As one Lord Chief Justice once said, "Be you never so high, be you ever so high, the law is above you." That applies to Mrs. Thatcher as it does to Arthur Scargill. This is what the American Declaration of Independence said. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's good enough for us.
Well, I told you you'd enjoy that.